Good morning and welcome back to the garden. Today is Saturday, July 2nd. And you know what Saturday means. We're going to do a quick review of the deep mulch garden. Then we're going to go to you and see what's going on in your garden. Thanks, buddy. Put you back in there. Yeah, let's take these lower ones off. I just thought we'd get some of these tomatoes taken care of before we started our review. And of course I made that rule, you gotta plant something every time you come out to the garden. If you're new to my channel, you're in for a real treat. Saturdays are reserved for you and what's going on in your garden. This is a loose-knit community of people that like to get their hands dirty, dig in the ground, and grow stuff that tastes good. You can become a part of this too. Just email me at waylandsmalley5@gmail.com. The address is in the description box below. So while I go ahead and get a couple more suckers off, let's go ahead and take a look at a few. Kathy's raised beds are filling out nicely as the summer starts. All her basil came from seeds she saved from last year. And the 2 oak trees came from a man named Wes. Thank you, Kathy. This looks awesome. Larry's attention has turned to the most work you're going to do in the garden, and that's harvesting. Larry, this looks great, and we expect a lot more just like it. Michael has turmeric that is coming up in the corner of his deep mulch raised bed garden, along with everything else that is doing great. His beehives now have about 25 pounds of honey in each one. Your summer harvest is going to be spectacular. Thank you, Michael. Dan from Four Oaks Family Homestead, I've linked their channel in the description box below, sent in a few updates from around their place. That hoop house is doing great, so is that field of corn. Thank you, Dan. Walter continues to demonstrate just how much you can squeeze into a small area. His creative use of caging and string trellis has tripled the amount of plants he has, and yet still be able to reach each one. His lotus is also loving his garden. Beautiful. Thank you, Walter. Weren't those terrific? I definitely get motivation from our friends and neighbors. I thought I had a volunteer cantaloupe, then I got excited and thought we had a volunteer watermelon. Take a look at this. And I'm counting 6 or 7 down in there. I believe those are our little striped Russian melons. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at a few more. Josh said his organic tomatoes are just starting to make. I don't know if you got salsa or spaghetti sauce in mine. Vivian, your raised beds have sure changed in a week. You'll have a kitchen full before you know it. Your zucchini is awesome. Thank you, Vivian. Mike pulled another hill of purple fingerlings. Gotta love purple potatoes. Thank you, Mike. Jen wasn't quite ready to pull her potatoes, but she had a mole come and visit. You still got a pretty nice haul. Jen, the rest of your garden still is looking great. Thank you. Keep us updated. Our friends and neighbors are absolutely spectacular, and all the work they do in their garden. Please leave a comment and let everybody know how much you appreciate them sharing what's going on at their house. Please hit the like button. That helps YouTube's algorithm share this with more people. And if you shared this around to like-minded people, it would also help the channel grow. Kind of like the garden. I'm not going to say the cedar chips helped, but these were under attack. And look how spectacular they're doing. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got a half a dozen or more squash that'll be coming off in the next day or so. So I'm pretty happy with the results. I went ahead and got a couple more bales. We'll be spreading those out. Since the blister beetles were in here, we're keeping a real sharp eye, see if we can't find any more. We can deal with them one at a time pretty easy.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at a few more.
Nora, your blossoms are as delightful as always. We're sure happy for the splash of color. Thank you, Nora, for sharing. Keep them coming. Jeremy's small raised bed garden is also filling out nicely. You still have broccoli and cabbage in this heat, and your peaches are filling out nicely. What you have done in a small area is inspiring. Thank you, Jeremy. Jim's container garden may have started a bit late as far as he is concerned, but it should be producing long after most gardens are done. Jim, this looks great. Remember, keep those cucumbers out of the trees this year. Thank you. Justin's deep mulch garden is also filling out nicely. This year he's using less wood chips and more hay and grass. Keep us posted on how this produces. Thank you, Justin. This looks awesome. Scott, I am hooked, and the variety of colors that you have is fantastic. Thank you for starting us on this journey. One day I hope to have that kind of variety.
This is a group that gives each other ideas, and their ideas are awesome. I hope you'd like to share some of your ideas with the group. If you do, we invite you to come along. I would have never thought to grow peanuts, and I've never seen a peanut blossom. These are supposed to grow up until fall, then we'll see what we get. But I'm just amazed. But let's also take a look at one other thing that we're following.
Our sweet potato patch is starting to fill out.
And this is the vine we're going to follow all year long. At the end of this episode, I'll have a link showing you where we planted this. We planted this slip off of our giant sweet potato with no roots. And you can see they grow just fine with no roots. Actually, let's look at the no root patch. Put a slip in a glass of water and get some roots going. Whether you up-pot those slips or whether you just pull a slip and stick it in the ground, I think they all do just fine. We'll see if these make better potatoes than those that we had roots on over there. But for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at a few more.
Bruce starts off in his garden with his first miracle fruit and a papaya. Other than that, his Florida garden is the same as everyone else's. Well, sorta. He planted those tomatoes in December. This just shows how long a tomato can produce and live in the right conditions. Everything else here is second or third planting. That also shows the importance of succession planting. Bruce, this is truly amazing. Thank you for sharing and inspiring everybody. Art's deep mulch raised bed is coming along very nicely. His tomatoes are also starting to make. Looks great, Art. Thank you. Valerie sent us a quick update of her Texas garden in this summer heat. The cowpeas and the squash look like they're doing just fine. Your greens look very tasty. And round 3 are sprouting nicely. Valerie, I know you have plans for the fall, and we look forward to seeing your updates. Thank you for sharing your garden. Rick sent us an update on the fruits of his labor. This is fantastic, Rick. Thank you. And this is why we do it, because it tastes good.
I'm telling you, our friends and neighbors are simply amazing. Makes you just want to come out here and get your hands dirty. If you remember, I pruned these hot peppers back before we planted them. Took them a little while to get going. Last week we went ahead and started staking this one up, and it's really taken off. I'm expecting hot peppers here pretty quick. Now, I did get a comment from a viewer. We got buckets all over the garden. And if you've been following me, you know we fill these up. That way the chlorine has a chance to dissipate off. If you're going to use anything bigger in a bucket like this, it's going to take a few days for that chlorine gas to evaporate out of this. And if you have chloramine, you're going to want to put a little vitamin C in here. But if you have city water or a water company treatment plant water, you're going to want to do something. It's not going to hurt your garden that much if you just use your water hose. But the more chlorine you can take out of your water, the better the life in the soil will be. I want to thank all the contributors to these episodes, all the new contributors. You have no idea how much you influence people around the world. I'm just a guy that didn't want to weed. I threw some grass on the ground, some leaves, some wood chips. I thought you might be interested. I see it growing even bigger than the garden. We might have a setback now and again. I was going to tell you about the blister beetle attack. Didn't look like they stripped them all that bad. There's still growth going, so we're not going to pull those this weekend. We're going to let them go a little while. I still got some in the house I'm eating on. Don't need them yet. But we'll keep monitoring for the bugs. You can do this too. I guarantee you the hardest work you're going to do out here is harvesting, and that's some good work. Till next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.
Well, I'll be darned. There's the first cucumber.